In sports, there are two groups of people that interact all the time that usually either love or hate each other. Those would be the players and the fans. There's no shortage of examples of times fans have not necessarily had great relationships with players. Bad fan contact can become a very serious situation. But there's one guy who has totally flipped the script on this. One guy who may or may not be turning in-game exchanges with fans into part of his identity. A man who managed to turn a feud with a fan base into a genuine mutual admiration in the span of just a couple interactions. This is Jesse Winker. He plays left field for the Seattle Mariners, and he will help you enjoy baseball games more. But first, hey, I have a webcam now. I may have to use it in future recordings now. If you like what you see here today, please consider dropping a like on the video and subscribing to the channel for more content like this. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I also got the webcam because I had an opportunity to get interviewed before an MLB game recently. It was a tremendous honor, and I had a lot of fun doing it, so if that sounds like something you'd want to see, there's a link in the description. Anyways, Jesse Winker isn't just a fun guy. He's also definitely not a fan of bad puns.
You took the lead there in "the wink of an eye." That was Tom Brenneman's line.
I will add on to the he's not just a fun guy point and tell you that Jesse Winker is good at baseball. For his career at the time of recording this, he's been about 26% better than the average hitter around him if you go by the OPS plus stat. So he's a good player, assuming you want to watch guys who you can see play well. To the point where you could find him starting in the 2021 MLB All-Star Game. But honestly, as it relates to this specific story, it doesn't really matter. While Winker being a solid hitter is good to know, it's not why you're here. And ultimately not why he should soon become one of your favorite baseball players. To understand why, you need to understand his relationship with Mets fans. You know, Stewie Griffin's friends. Strap yourself in, because we're going into storytime mode. I got the webcam now, might as well be one of those storytime YouTubers. Why his stats are secondary to why you'll love Jesse begins here. April 29th, 2019. A time at the beginning of a 4-month stretch where Old Town Road was the #1 song in the world. Winker is playing for the Cincinnati Reds as they take a trip up to Queens, New York to face the Mets. The teams play a tight game tied at 4 in the top of the 9th. Jesse steps up to the batter's box and unties it.
High drive right center field by Jesse! Yes, sir! To Wink!
It was a huge moment. He single-handedly upped the Reds' chances of winning by 41%. Obviously, Mets fans in the crowd were, let's say, bothered by that. So when Winker was back in his spot in left field for the bottom of the 9th, the crowd let him have it. Jesse pointed up to them as a way of both acknowledging and messing with them back. Reds win the game 5-4. Winker goes home happy, literally waving goodbye at them on his way to the team's celebration. Dude really hit a Fortnite emote on the field. 2 days later, on May 1st, the Reds again take a 1-run lead in a tight game on a solo homer with 2 outs in the 9th. Trying to work a rally to come back in the bottom half, Mets outfielder Brandon Nimmo hits a slicing foul ball down the line. Winker goes over to the left field corner and makes a beautiful sliding catch to end it, crushing any remaining optimism the Mets fans had for the game. And of course, he made sure to wave goodbye. Now the tables will in fact turn the next day. The shoe was on the other foot. The Mets had a 1-0 lead in the top of the 9th, and it was up to Winker to get something started to mount a comeback. Winker takes a pretty bad strike call, and is unhappy about it. He and the umpire nicely recreate the argument scene from Toy Story before Winker gets kicked out of the game. Now, what do you think the Mets fans did to Winker as he left the game? Jesse acknowledged the fact that they got the last laugh, and only talked positively about the whole experience.
Are you excited to go back to Citi Field?
I can't wait. New Yorkers are awesome, and I appreciate the banter. But yeah, like you said, they clearly won that one. I was the one that got ejected, and they got the last laugh, and it was a lot of fun, though.
Then this worldwide pandemic happened, and it prevented Jesse's Reds from going back to Citi Field for well over 2 years. When he got back, Mets fans definitely remembered what happened. I feel like keeping this video relatively wholesome, so I'm not going to show you the words, but Jesse took notice of a sign a Mets fan brought to the game. It was kind of mean, but it was coming from a place of fun. Jesse definitely agreed. Not only did he see the sign, He made sure to write the fan a note on a ball and toss it up to him, and he actively wanted to get the sign to frame it in his house. What a power move. Now the next time Jesse went back to Citi Field, that's when this really cemented itself as a story worth telling here. The usual boos came back whenever he'd step in the box, but he also made sure to own the Mets with his play. Hit after hit after hit in his first series as a Mariner at Citi Field. Want to know something cool though? It was everyone's first Mariners series at Citi Field. It's 2022 in this series. They somehow hadn't played in Queens since 2008. When Felix Hernandez hit a grand slam off of a longtime ace pitcher with his eyes closed. He can do that, but this is how me playing video games with my eyes closed goes. During the series, on the same day Buck Showalter's friend Shakira hung out with Travis Jankowski, Jesse made sure to hit a missile of a game-tying home run off the Mets late in the game. This is a very Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen playing in a softball game kind of blast. And Jesse took his sweet time getting back to the dugout. No, like this goes on for a while. He didn't forget to wave though, which he'd also do after the Mariners took the final game of the series from the Mets, saying goodbye to New York for the foreseeable future. I know that because I saw the clip on the Diego Castillo highlight channel. Great channel, by the way. I definitely recommend it. You would think that an athlete having a rivalry with an entire fan base would be rooted in spite and hatred. Jesse loves Mets fans. He's very open about that.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I love them. They are an amazing group of people. They are very passionate about their team and their city. This thing we got going on is special.
Mets fans also don't hate Jesse Winker. He's a villain, but not really.
I think Winker is he's far too likable to be a guy that the Mets are serenading.
He does it in a fun-loving way.
Yes.
He appreciates them getting on him. He's not afraid to play back.
I do have a little secret for you though. All this is amazing and great for baseball, but it's not why we're really here. What if I told you that while Jesse versus Mets fans is by far the best example of this part of his personality, it's not the only time or place it's happened. We're really here because of an experience I had watching Winker up close and personal. A few weeks ago, I took in a game down in Miami to see the Marlins play. The Mariners. Jesse Winker's Mariners. Down in left field at Lone Depot Park in Miami, there's a bar area right at field level. I don't look it, but I am over 21. So some friends and I took in the game in a way I'd never experienced before with baseball. I distinctly noticed these dudes on the other side of where we were at getting absolutely hammered and yelling at the Mariners left fielder. Take a second to remember who that is. Fully aware of Jesse's history with the Mets, that stuff was in the back of my mind when I noticed him messing with the crowd right back. Gradually building up over the time I was there, I watched Jesse feed off that crowd and pulled out every trick in the book to give it right back to them. And it was awesome. As I was taking this video, one of the people I was with asked, "Is this for your YouTube channel?" I jokingly answered at the time, "Not yet, it's not." Well, here we are. My enjoyment of the game went up because of Jesse doing this. And that's my point. If you're at a game Jesse Winker is playing in, he can very easily make your experience better, without even playing well. He does this stuff when he's doing well, he does this stuff when he's in a slump. The way Jesse has banter with the crowds is in no way choosing violence. I think everyone involved knows that it's all in good fun. Fans honestly don't deserve that sometimes. People at games really don't know what professional athletes go through. So when you chirp them and genuinely try to get under their skin, that's wrong. Imagine if I showed up to you at your job at like CVS and just like yelled at you for a couple hours about how much you suck at it. You'd hate that. Jesse's relationship with fans is different, and whether he means to or not, he makes the game day atmosphere better. And as long as it stays fun and wholesome in nature, this is something good for the game. We're all about making baseball fun. This is another way that gets put on display. This is not an invitation to publicly harass Jesse Winker. I think the rules for what kind of banter is acceptable should be common sense. But I'm going to take an educated guess and say that Jesse would be more than happy to give it to you right back, based on what we've seen here today. Baseball's fun. Jesse Winker will make it more fun for you at the ballpark too. I'm sorry in advance, but was there any other way to say goodbye in this video than this?
Ain't it funny, me not over our little damn thing. I'm tired, don't wanna try her, cause I'm just a liar. I'm over this shit, ain't